Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the WNBA? I know she's made a cameo here, she's made a cameo there, she was featured as part of this rollout here, featured as part of this rollout there, but is this our first official Caitlin Clark solo commercial since she has joined the WNBA?
Nike just released a brand new commercial featuring Caitlin Clark and her new Kobe shoe that she released today. And I saw this commercial yesterday on social media. I thought it was so cool. There's a shot when she's in the locker room and she opens her eye and it like turns into what looks like a snake eye, but when you zoom in, it's actually the Kobe logo.
Caitlin Clark and Nike are officially dropping Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever player exclusive Kobe 5s in just a couple weeks. So this shoe was first seen being worn by Caitlin and was thought to be a colorway made just for her up until just a couple days ago, where Nike's official images of the shoes got leaked and the announcement was made saying that everyone will now have a chance to wear her shoes.
Well, I don't think I'd be in the wrong to say Caitlin Clark's Kobe is the sneaker of the week, and everyone's focus is mostly on this one. If you really wanted that shoe, I hope you put your footwork in, because there's supposedly only 13,000 pairs on Sneakers App tomorrow. Combine that with a really high resale value, I expect this shoe to be a relatively difficult call. But my hope seriously is that with Caitlin Clark's sneaker coming out, that this sets a precedent and we might see other exclusive player edition Kobe's drop for the public.
Look, these things is some fire. I'm telling you, where there's smoke, there is fire, and these things is hitting so hard. And who got a bot? Who a shoe plug? Because I need 2 pairs. I need one for the sneaker wall, and I need one for my feet, because these things is hitting right here. And no, I don't want to pay $600 on Go.
I lost all respect for A'ja Wilson. I don't want to hear her opinions. I don't care what she has to say from this point on. When you keep a Nike deal 2 years in secret while you're spewing all that crazy stuff about Caitlin Clark in the Time magazine, read it. Read what she said in the Time magazine. Yet you had a Nike deal the whole entire time? Suspicious.
Nike just pulled the ultimate corporate plot twist. A move so calculated and yet so obvious, it has left WNBA star A'ja Wilson absolutely seething. After years of pouring millions of dollars and marketing muscle into Wilson's brand, all while watching Caitlin Clark independently set the entire sports world on fire every single time she even breathes near a basketball, Nike finally woke up and smelled the reality check. They've been betting on the wrong horse this entire time, and now that they're finally shifting gears toward the one woman who actually moves merchandise at a historic rate, A'ja is reportedly having a full-blown behind-the-scenes meltdown. Folks, this isn't just about shoes. This is about Nike finally, publicly, admitting they've been playing favorites with a player who's...
So it's finally here. Caitlin Clark sneakers from Nike is finally dropping. She was signed to them last year, and the sneakers is a year late in my opinion, but nonetheless I'm excited because these sneakers is finally coming out. But what does annoy me a little bit is that this is a collaboration with Kobe. Now, Kobe, respect to Kobe, the legend, rest in peace, great basketball player. But in my opinion, Caitlin Clark is a big enough star and she's creating her own legacy. So I feel like, at least for her first sneaker, it shouldn't be a collaboration with any other player, dead or alive, in my opinion. I feel like Caitlin should have, for her first shoe, had her own original design just for her, no collaboration.
Let's talk numbers, because math doesn't lie, even when an athlete's ego desperately wants it to. A'ja Wilson's highly anticipated Nike A1 signature shoes? Sure, they sold out in about 5 minutes back in May. That sounds impressive, until you dig a little deeper and realize Nike only released a very limited quantity, essentially manufacturing a sellout by creating artificial scarcity. It's a classic marketing trick. Now, compare that to Caitlin Clark. She drops a Kobe collaboration. Not even her own signature shoe yet, mind you. And a reported 13,000 pairs simply vanish into thin air in literal minutes. Not 5 minutes, minutes. The Nike website didn't just slow down under the traffic. It practically waved a white flag and surrendered to the overwhelming force of the Caitlin Clark army. Resale prices for Clark's shoe immediately shot up to a staggering $350 to $600 on the secondary market. When Clark's merchandise hits the digital shelves, it doesn't just sell out, it creates an absolute feeding frenzy. A digital riot that makes Black Friday at a big box store look like a quiet, casual yard sale. The shoes are
And all this was done while the shoes being developed, while the collections being done. To demonize Caitlin Clark and try to label her as a privileged white girl that's getting all the privileges, even though she earned everything she got. This ain't about color. This is about good and bad. And I honestly find this a little evil. I find this evil. This is beyond bad, because you had the ability to speak up and say, hey, everybody, relax. Don't get on Caitlin Clark. She got a shoe deal. That's cool. I got one too. Mine's taking a little bit, but it's going to come out. Just be patient. She could have came out and said that, but she didn't.
And here's where it gets particularly spicy. Nike reportedly spent 2 solid years meticulously developing AJ Wilson's signature line, giving her the full princess treatment. We're talking custom logos, deep personal design input, the whole 9 yards. They let her embed Celtic symbols for her parents, quotes from her grandmother, and enough personal, sentimental touches to make the shoe less a piece of athletic equipment and more of a family scrapbook with laces. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is still technically waiting for her actual signature shoe, all while wearing what are essentially Kobe Bryant hand-me-downs. And yet, those hand-me-downs are outselling Wilson's custom-made masterpieces by margins that would make a seasoned mathematician weep. Nike gave Aja Wilson everything she could have possibly asked for, and more. Yet somehow, Caitlin Clark's leftovers are generating more buzz, more hype, and infinitely more revenue than Wilson's entire carefully crafted brand statement.
Nike did not fumble Caitlin Clark. It takes years and years of research and development and building and designing and trialing and erroring to build a custom shoe line. Caitlin Clark has played in only Kobe 5s and Kobe 6s almost exclusively for like the last 3 or 4 years. If they are building a shoe for Caitlin Clark, that Caitlin Clark is going to wear, that she's going to sell, that she's going to give away to her teammates, to her fans, to whomever, it has to be as good as, if not better, than the Kobe 5 or 6. And there's new Kobe variants out, and she doesn't wear them. She signed a $28 million 10-year contract with Nike. Year 2. We're in year 2 of that. The shoes are coming. They have to design them. It takes several years for this to happen. We're not just doing a colorway like Paige Beckers did.
This brings us to the elephant in the room, the Aja Wilson me mentality. This is a woman who, according to her critics, has been campaigning for attention like she's perpetually running for president of basketball. She got her signature shoe. She got her custom logo that sparks conversation, which is often PR speak for nobody really knows what it's supposed to mean. She even got a Nike commercial directed by Malia Obama. And yet, she still can't seem to stop acting like the world, and Nike owes her something more. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark just shows up, plays basketball, and accidentally becomes the most marketable female athlete Nike has seen since, well, maybe ever. Wilson is out here demanding respect, while Clark is effortlessly earning it, crashing websites and filling arenas without even seeming to try.
Your stock price since 2021, it is down nearly 60%. Your executives and the people who are making these decisions, their stock options are worthless. Meanwhile, you have the single biggest needle mover in all of American sports since Michael Jordan, and you have somehow convinced yourself that you need to slow play this. Let me show you Google Trends search traffic for 4 female basketball players. There is one who only rivals Caitlin Clark, and that is Angel Reese, and you do not have her. She is over at Reebok. I am so confused as to how you would be so invested in the WNBA for several years, and you have been doing great work to try to elevate and uplift that league and many of the athletes there, but this seems like you have convinced yourself that this needs to be an either-or conversation, and we never have an either-or conversation in the men's sports. You have like 10 signature athletes. Half of them don't deserve a signature shoe.
But the most damning part of this narrative, the part that has fans and commentators losing all respect for A'ja Wilson, is the alleged hypocrisy. All this was done, all this shoe development, all this brand building, while she was allegedly keeping her Nike deal a secret for 2 years. 2 years. And during that time, she was spewing, as one critic put it, all that crazy stuff about Caitlin Clark in Time magazine, allegedly helping to demonize Clark and label her as some privileged white girl who was getting unearned opportunities. This ain't about color, the commentator fumed. This is about good and bad, and I honestly find this a little evil. A'ja had the ability, the platform, and the inside knowledge to speak up to say, hey everybody, relax. Don't get on Caitlin Clark. She got a shoe deal, that's cool. I got one too.
But I just felt like across the board, this commercial was a 10 for 10. And a lot of people have been getting on Nike because they don't feel like they have been promoting Caitlin as much as they should. But I will say we have to give credit where credit is due. I feel like in the past month or so, they had been tweeting about Caitlin more. And then obviously with this shoe release, they made this super sick commercial to promote it. And of course, just today, Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute. And I saw so many tweets about this, so many people who were so sad that they missed out on the shoe. I saw that there was this one Dick's store and people were lined up around the corner, like camping out, trying to get the shoe.
The funniest part is that Nike actually tried to make the A'ja Wilson project work. They gave her a massive $20 million plus contract extension. They created entire marketing campaigns centered around her diamond in the rough persona. They pushed her story harder than a desperate used car salesman on the last day of the month. But here's the lesson they're learning the hard way. You simply cannot manufacture what Caitlin Clark possesses naturally. Clark signed her own mammoth 8-year, $28 million deal and immediately became Nike's single most valuable asset, without them even having to lift a finger. Every single time she steps on a court wearing any piece of Nike gear, it's free advertising worth millions of dollars. A'ja Wilson needs production teams, compelling storylines, and carefully crafted narratives to move her brand. Caitlin Clark just needs to exist.
I find it's very deplorable to me. I find it's very deplorable that you allow Caitlin Clark to get crapped on that whole entire time and even speak up. And on top of that, Nike's a bunch of a-holes too, because they didn't speak up and defend Caitlin Clark or speak up and say, hey, we got A'ja's shoe coming. We got A'ja's shoe coming. Just got to be patient. Caitlin Clark's going to get hers too. I don't understand the tactics here. All you're causing controversy that didn't have to be there. You're calling division where it didn't have to be there. You're calling racial, issues where it didn't have to be there.
Let's talk about the market impact, because this is where A'ja Wilson's delusions of grandeur crash headfirst into the cold, hard, unforgiving wall of reality. Caitlin Clark, in her final year at Iowa, generated an estimated $82.5 million in economic impact for the state of Iowa alone. That is not a typo. That's from one player in one college season in one state. Her influence extends far beyond the basketball court into pure, undeniable cultural phenomenon territory. Nike executives are probably kicking themselves raw for not realizing sooner that they had the female Michael Jordan sitting right there, waiting in their portfolio, while they were busy trying to make A'ja Wilson happen like she was some kind of basketball fetch from Mean Girls. The writing was on the wall from day one, but Nike was reportedly too caught up in their internal social justice scorecard, their DEI initiatives, their desire to push a specific narrative, to simply read the room.
You finally put her in a Super Bowl campaign with 9 other women, and all respect to them, but none of them are moving the needle quite like she is. Your tagline in that was, "You can't win, so win." One of the best explanations I can come up with is that you are wringing your hands and afraid to enter into this politically divisive conversation that has been co-opted by the media and pundits who are race baiting and doing all kinds of ridiculous things around women's basketball. You can't win, so win. You have the unicorn, the chosen one, the one who everyone wants to hear from, and you were just sitting around. Gatorade, State Farm, Gainbridge, Wilson Basketball have all figured out how to have a point of view with Caitlin Clark. Please, for the love of God, figure something out.
And now, suddenly, Nike is waking up from their corporate slumber. Caitlin Clark's Kobe shoes drop, and the internet literally breaks. Not experiences heavy traffic, breaks. Meanwhile, Aja Wilson is left watching her own carefully orchestrated 2-year-in-the-making rollout get completely and utterly overshadowed by Clark's casual Tuesday afternoon shoe release. The contrast is so stark, so undeniable, it's almost embarrassing. Wilson needs months of meticulous build-up, promotional tours, and expensive marketing campaigns to move her inventory. Caitlin Clark just needs a single social media post, and suddenly, people are literally camping outside of sneaker stores like it's a Supreme drop from 2017.
Also heard that Nike stocked about 14,000 of these, and that is an unconfirmed report, but they sold out in less than a minute. If that's any indication of what a Caitlin Clark signature shoe will do, I think Nike better continue to get on it and get ready to launch this brand for
Right. Nike released the shoe this morning for $190. That was the going rate for the signature sneaker. Now, I'm here to tell you, as you guys can see right here on Google, just type in Caitlin Clark Kobe 5. StockX, currently right now, they're going for $345. On GOAT, they're going for $386. And Flight Club, you're looking at $375. Must mind you, these sneakers was just released a few hours ago. These sneakers were retail for $190. This is the Caitlin Clark defect.
But here's what must really have Aja twisted. Nike is finally, publicly, acknowledging what everyone else on planet Earth already knew. Caitlin Clark doesn't just sell shoes. She sells dreams. She sells hype. She sells a cultural movement. The market has spoken loud and clear with its wallets, and the message is crystal clear. Caitlin Clark is the future, and Aja Wilson, for all her on-court accomplishments, is rapidly becoming yesterday's news, desperately trying to stay relevant in tomorrow's game. Wilson spent years complaining about not getting enough attention, not getting her signature shoe fast enough, not being recognized as the undisputed face of the league. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark just quietly became everything Aja Wilson claimed she deserved to be. Clark didn't have to campaign for it, didn't have to demand it, didn't have to throw social media tantrums about it. She just earned it through pure, undeniable, record-shattering excellence. And now that Nike is finally catching up to what the rest of the world already knew months, if not years, ago, Aja is left to watch from the sidelines as Caitlin Clark becomes the golden child she always thought she was. The market doesn't lie, and the numbers, unlike some narratives, don't care about your feelings. Aja can have all the MVPs and championship rings she wants. But Caitlin Clark has something you can't coach, you can't manufacture, and you certainly can't fake. Authentic, organic star power that translates to actual, tangible dollars. And Nike, a company that knows a thing or two about dollars, has finally figured out that betting on Wilson was like investing heavily in blockbuster video, while Netflix was quietly taking over the entire world. They had the future of basketball marketing right there in their portfolio, and for a while, they treated her like a consolation prize. The revolution isn't coming, it's already here. And Nike, finally, has joined the right army.